Hello, mes amours. Welcome to another great episode of the Before the Veil show. My name is Melissa Philippi, your host, and today we have this amazing power couple who's joining us. Put your hands together. Let's welcome Don and Farah of the Caribbean Bites.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, definitely,
We're
definitely.
excited. We meet again.
Yes.
Remember? How many years ago was that?
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. So at least 5 years, right?
Yes, about that. Yes.
Oh my God.
You were such a wonderful guest.
Thank you.
At our bridal show.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a must that we brought you back, guys.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And this time, Don is joining us.
I was there, but I wasn't on the stage.
You weren't on the panel.
I
Yeah,
wasn't on
that's
the
true.
panel.
Mm-hmm.
So how has it been since then?
Oh my God. It's been
Busy.
super busy.
Super
This year
busy.
has been a little bit quiet, but that's okay. It's time to recharge, regroup,
Correct.
spend time with family, friends.
Yeah.
What else?
2025 to come.
2025 to come.
Okay.
Big things.
Big things.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
Excited.
for the people who don't know about you,
Mm-hmm.
tell us, what do you guys do? You know, what's your background? Give us a little
Well,
details
other
about your
than
personal
being-
life.
Other than being the co-founders of Caribbean Bites, I'm the security manager for the state attorney's office in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Okay, and I am Farah, the chef and co-owner of Caribbean Bites Catering. I actually still work my full-time job. I am a senior clinical care coordinator for Optum at Home. So it's a lot that goes behind that, but I've been with the company for about 12 to 13 years. In addition to that, I still work my full-time job and I cater, so I do it all.
That's where do you guys find time to do anything? That's a lot. Full-time job
Yeah.
and full-time caterer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our passion. Our
Yes.
passion is what drives us. I can't stay out of the kitchen.
No.
It's every time I get a break, I'm like, oh, what else can I create? And he's right along with the ride for me. So
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
I love how you said all of this with a passion, you know?
Oh, it is.
Because it's not so often, you know, you hear the story starts like this, you know, where you both are passionate about the same thing from
Yeah.
different, you know, corner of wherever you guys
Right.
stay, and then come together through mutual love of food.
Right.
And then you had to share all the Haitian recipes with him on the
Sure
first
did.
try.
And we don't share it with nobody else. Understand? We don't share it with nobody else.
They don't. So, you guys catered your own wedding.
Yes.
I have so many questions.
Yes.
So many questions.
We have answers.
We do.
So, did you guys start the catering business before the wedding, or was it simultaneously that once you catered your wedding, then you guys became business owners?
Well, we already had begun the business idea
Got it.
for
Got it,
Caribbean
yeah.
Bites.
Okay.
So that was her dream. We had already began to prepare. We were getting married. We were speaking to a caterer. We were ready. Spoke to her. Had the tasting. I think it was a month and a half, 2 months in.
Probably about 3 months.
3 months in.
Before the wedding.
Before the wedding, we attempted to call a caterer.
Oh,
No
Jesus.
phone, no text, no nothing.
was there a
She
deposit?
she did follow up with us. She told us that she was going to Haiti to open up
Right.
a restaurant.
Okay.
And she wasn't going to be able to do it.
Okay.
So we know how costly catering can be.
Yes.
I think it's one of the big ticketed items that you need to have.
Right.
You really can't scale back on food, but you can scale back on other things.
Correct.
Your chairs, your floral. So we were like, what are we gonna do? We can either just take this money and go on a nice honeymoon, or we can try to cater our own food.
Which was a long conversation
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
How your parents felt about that?
They didn't know about it. They didn't know about it, but we had to figure it out.
Right.
When we decided to just go ahead and move forward with it. Thank God my aunt came from the Bahamas, which is also my godmother. Shout out to me, Rose.
Mama
I know
Rose.
me, Rose.
One time.
And we put all heads together and we went in that kitchen and we did it. My aunts, my mom, my stepmom, they all came together and that was it.
So, again, I said I had a lot of questions about this. How did you handle rehearsal with pre-seasoning of your protein and hair and, you know, all of this.
Right.
How did you handle all of this and waiting to walk down the aisle?
So rehearsal was the day before.
Right.
The next day, we pretty much had all our spices. We make all of our spices from scratch. We are familiar with epis. So we had already blended all of that 48 hours before. Of course, the marinade was done before. And that was pretty much it. I mean, epis is the star of the show. That's what makes our cuisine what it is.
Right.
And it's really nothing else you need to put on it. So that's how that came about, along with everybody coming together and just executing the day of. So that's how we did it.
Yep.
When it came to hair, I actually had a hair appointment.
Did you make it?
I made the appointment. The girl said she had to go pick up her son and left me there. So guess what I had to go home and do?
Do your own hair.
I sure did.
I had to come and get her.
I said,
And-
I gotta go. I can't wait. I can't wait on this girl.
She was fussing. She was not happy about
So you were very hands-on. You did your own
Very.
hair, you did your catering.
Very, yeah.
Please tell me you had a florist that came through.
Yes.
We did.
Okay.
We did, yeah. But we didn't have a lot of flowers.
Okay.
We weren't like really big floral people, but yeah, no, I didn't do anything else
No.
outside of the food,
Food
and hair.
and hair.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of brides right now just like shaking in their pants, like, what is going on?
But times have changed though. It's been
Yes.
almost 9 years. So where we were at
Yes, it'll be 10
pre-COVID,
years.
it's not the same. It's not the same.
I agree.
So it's a different time, and I'm glad we got married when we did.
I'm
'cause,
so glad. we
yeah,
got married.
It's a different show now.
it is definitely
Yes.
100%.
So how would you describe your style of catering?
I want to say that we're a free-form catering company. We want the client to be a part of the experience. We like to create a story with each client because everybody comes from a different walk of life.
Correct.
Especially living in South Florida, it's like a melting pot. You have different cultures, different backgrounds merging together. And I just love to really get to know the client on a one-on-one basis. We do get a little bit of personal, how they met, their culture, their background, and we actually create the menu. And that's what makes us so different from every other catering company. We have a preset menu, but that's just to give you a guide on pricing. We like to customize each and every menu for each client because everyone's different.
Correct.
So we want to create a story with your food, and that's what we do.
And you're probably going to repeat some of the same things that you just said, but what is the Caribbean Bites experience? As a client, me coming to you, I want you to do my wedding. So what's the experience like? What should I expect?
Well, we definitely create a safe space for our clients. I think that's one of the most important things. I think one of the biggest challenges that people find in catering is either the food is not being served at a timely fashion, the food is being cold, running out of food. Those are things that are non-negotiable for us. We really take pride in the integrity behind our food, the quality of our food, and also the service. He's
Correct.
front of the house, so he handles
All front of the
any
house
challenges
issues.
that he may have with the guests, the bride, the groom, making sure that they eat, the bridal party. So yeah, it's definitely a hassle-free experience, and that's what we do.
So in the spirit of non-gatekeeping, what would you say to upcoming caterers right now? Because I be saying stuff. And I want you guys to share some of the professional, experience key point with them.
Know your craft. Prepare your craft like you would for preparing it for yourself
Yeah.
or your own wedding. Don't try to give people just anything just to
Make a dollar.
make a dollar. That's not going to, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for you.
Yeah. And I also want to say, know your clients. Know your clients, get to know them, be personable with them as well too. I feel like also having an open line of communication with your clients is also imperative as well.
Because our clients call us all the time.
Yeah.
We do other events for our clients after we've done their wedding, birthday parties and other things of that sort, which they're very happy with us and they know they're like family to us.
It's always a great sign when you are a repeated vendor for a client. That tells you that you did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you specific to Caribbean flavors or are you more diverse?
Well, we are very diverse. As I stated before, I've been watching food for a very long time. I want to say 3. So Caribbean food is not all we specialize in. Of course, that's where our heart is. But I feel like when you're really big on creativity and you're passionate about what you do, there's no limitations to what you can do. And there is no limitation with Caribbean Bites, as long as we're not doing food from Iceland.
Okay.
I think we could definitely execute and create it. And like I said, being in South Florida, you have that melting pot. So you have to be able to create. You have to be able to pivot and create a seamless experience for all of your clients. So no, we're not just based off of just Caribbean food. We do a little bit of everything.
The way I saw the tasting went, I'm pretty sure if someone from Iceland, like you mentioned, came, you would practice that and deliver.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah, always up for a challenge.
I know, right?
And if you guys have not had the pleasure of going to one of their tastings, first of all, follow them. Follow their page, Caribbean Bites, right?
Caribbean Bites
On Instagram.
_ official.
And then, look out for their next tasting. You'll be so surprised. Not that they couldn't do it, but you'll just see how extensive their menu can be. So everyone has a little secret behind their passion, behind their flavor as a caterer. What would you say your secret ingredient is? I guess if you tell me, it's not so secret.
Right?
That's a good question.
But share a little bit of us, the process and how you come to, help us to experience those flavors.
I want to say love. I want to say love for sure. As Don stated before, if you don't put love in the food, it's just never going to come out right. You can have the perfect ingredients, the recipe, but if you don't do it with passion and love, it's never going to come out right. And we're just really big on fresh herbs and spices.
Okay.
You add spices or seasonings, I would say, to change the dynamic of the food. But it always starts with fresh herbs. I feel like sometimes people do too much to some of the food and it completely takes away from the dish itself.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to seafood. If you're doing seafood, it's not something that you have to slather with a piece. It's not something that you don't want it to overshine the actual dish. So I think, like I said, passion, love,
And
fresh,
keep it simple.
Keep it, exactly.
So
100%.
I read a post from you, and I actually used the same ideas that you gave at my own home.
Okay.
You posted that you had a headache from prior experience with somewhere else after eating their food.
Yes.
And that you tested it again to see if that was it.
Yes.
And then you came back to say that people should use more fresh herbs in their food for flavor.
Absolutely.
And that's actually what I do. Yes, I relied, on these, dry seasoning and things like that.
Yeah.
But I have been incorporating way more fresh stuff. A lot of onions, a lot of, green onions and other things in my food to look for that flavor.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, those dry seasoning, it does raise your blood pressure.
It does.
And I'm not going to say that I have not seen my blood pressure going up, and I'm giving you guys too much information. Yeah, I suffer from blood pressure. Yeah. So, but I can say that it has helped tremendously.
Oh, wow.
Pulling back from those dry seasoning from the shop and using a lot more herbs.
Yeah, because they're full of MSG. People still use MSG. People have a stigma about MSG. It's not bad. It's about using everything in moderation.
Okay.
So if you're using something, for example, it's big in all cultures, I think, Maggi. People use it all the time. But if you're doing Maggi, there's no need to put a whole bunch of salt.
Correct.
You just have to have that balance in it, and I think that's imperative. But the flavor really comes from the fresh herbs and spices. So you have the cloves, you have the allspice, you have ginger, garlic, thyme, rosemary, tarragon, parsley, cilantro.
Keep going.
The list goes on
a
and
whole
on
list.
and on. And
Yeah.
if you put that on anything without any salt or without any, you would be able to smell that.
Yes, you do.
You don't even need any of the stuff that's in the dry cabinet. Like I said, the spices are just to kind of change the dynamics of the food. So if you're doing, let's just say you're doing a chicken, you want to make it curry, then you add the curry powder. If you want to do jerk, you add the jerk seasoning. But you're doing that to change the complexity of the dish, not to alter and change the actual dish itself.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very technical.
thank you, girl.
Okay. So would you consider doing some type of toi et moi, couple food type of, how should you call it? Something that brings the couples together and learn from you, you know?
Like
Would
a class?
Would you consider doing a toi et moi class?
That would be a good idea.
Look at me giving good ideas.
Girl.
No, I think
think
it's
it
a
would.
great way for people to learn to cook
Yeah,
together,
together.
you know, because in the household together, learning that, this is how it's done, and I know
Right.
the same as you. So when we get to cooking for each other,
Right.
we already know, okay, let's stay away from this, let's do this together.
Yes.
Correct.
You know, and then get the guys more involved with cooking.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So what would you say that your past clients, they appreciated more about you during the planning process of their wedding?
Well, I'll tell you, when you deal with someone on something so intimate as their food, I think our past clients just love the realness of us. Because when we give ourselves to our clients, we really do give ourselves to our clients. We try to do everything that's necessary, and we shoot for the stars with every event that we have. Every client of ours is family. They can call and say, "Hey, Don, how you doing? How you doing? What's going on? I got a baby shower. I need some help."
That's great,
You
yeah.
know, and we do the best that we can, and we work with all of our clients, our past clients, present clients. We have future clients right now that call every day. They just want the best event possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to tell them, yeah, this is good, or no, this sometimes you have to step back from this because you have so many people, or you have so many things that you're doing, and we can do it all, but doing just that extra, it's not always necessary.
Correct.
You know, so we really have a really good repertoire with our clients, every last one of them.
And I think what we also do, we educate our clients, because everybody doesn't know. Sometimes you go on social media and they're like saying, well, oh God, this
I
person
want
came
you
with
to
us with
try
a
that.
super low budget, or some people really don't know. And I feel like when you're in a field, regardless of whatever field you're in, whether it's medical, catering, event planning, whatever it is, that's your job to educate your
Correct.
clients, because
Yeah.
they really don't know.
Yes.
They've never gotten married before. They've never bought,
More than 5 pieces
20
of chicken.
centerpieces for flowers. So they really don't know. But they should at least have an idea. We
Yes.
encourage our clients to
To
shop
educate.
around, educate yourself, especially when you're looking for venue spaces. People fail to look at, though the venue may be beautiful, but if you don't have a kitchen, now you have to go out and create a makeshift kitchen. That's an additional cost. That's not something that, you don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the food because there's not a stove on site. There's not a hot box on site. So these are things that are very, very
No running
crucial.
water.
Running water, especially when you're doing outdoor events. Now you may need a tent. So these are all additional expenses that the client may incur because of the venue that they chose. So just educating them is really important.
And of course, you want to know ahead of time during walkthroughs and things like that. Well,
Right.
what's included,
What's
what's not
expected.
included,
Correct.
what to expect. Okay.
Absolutely.
So for our future brides and grooms, what kind of questions should they be asking caterers that they're looking to hire for their wedding? Or even if it's not an independent caterer,
Right.
even if they go to a hotel or a place that provides catering, what kind of questions should they be asking them?
That's
wanna
a
answer
good
that
question.
one?
That's a real good question. I feel if when we deal with our clients, we reminisce on how we were.
Okay.
When we first looked for a caterer, what did you want to have to eat for your wedding day? So when we told them and we advised them of what we wanted, when we deal with our new clients, they're more understanding because we give them the experience that they don't have. I can make you bouillon for your wedding, but is it going to be messy? That's a good possibility. But you don't want fried shrimp for your dinner. You know, you want something glamorous. You want something beautiful. We can give you that beauty. There is a cost to the beauty, but we can definitely bring that to you.
Okay.
So we try to explain it to them in that fashion.
I think also what we want to make sure that we educate our guests on, our clients rather, when it comes to catering, some of the questions that they should be asking is there a kitchen on site? Is there running water? Is there refrigeration?
Because you can't snap your fingers and that stuff show up.
Exactly. How soon can we go into the venue? What are the options for service for food, plating or buffet? You know, that's one of the biggest things where people would say, or now it's a myth because buffet is not cheaper than plating. Because now you have to buy more food, and we all see what's going on with food, the food costs.
Yeah.
It's not more cost effective. Just knowing exactly what type of service that you want. If you want family style is also a lot more expensive because now you have to prepare a lot more food, and now you need serving dishes to put on the table. Now you need more staff to be able to serve those dishes. So let's just say if you have a table of 20 people, for example, you're going to need to put a significant amount of protein on the table, a significant amount, and now you have no control of how much food you're putting on the table.
Correct.
You have no control how much they're going to eat from the lamb or the fish or whatever it is. So family style, you have buffet, you have plating, and then you have tapas, which is another small plate. So you can still get an entree in that, but it's just plated small. So we've been doing that a lot lately too. So just educating them, I think, is important.
So we do have a lot of couples, especially people from the Caribbean. They prefer to go with independent caterers because they feel that their guests would enjoy that style of food better.
Right.
And I do agree. I do agree because the last thing that I want to see is going to a venue that provides catering. However, your guests, they're not familiar with those flavors. And to me, at the end of the day, it's a waste of money because the plates are going to go back to the kitchen. I've seen them cleaning those plates full of food. You know, they taste it, you know?
I agree.
And they do that. So we have those group of clients who prefers to go with independent catering, such as yourself.
Right.
It's called independent catering, right? Caterer.
Yeah, independent catering or outside catering.
Outside catering.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as that, how do you help them to construct something? Because the reason why I'm asking you this question, I had a client who decided that she was going to order everything under the sun because she knew her crowd.
Right.
And I advised her, no, that's way too much food.
Right.
So she's like, no, this and this and this and this and that. And yes, at the end of the night, I watched so much food going back. The food was amazing. It was good.
Right.
However, it was too much food. Okay? You had side this, side that, and then late night food, and it was just, oh, come on, too much.
Too much, yeah.
So what do you consider to be a proper plate when it comes to our Caribbeans, when it comes to the type of food that, you know, I'm going to say Haitian just because I know you're a Haitian.
Yeah.
I'm Bahamian.
You're Bahamian. What? Same difference.
Same thing. Same water.
Yes. So yeah, what do you consider to be a proper plated food?
I think as a cultural, it's just naturally for us to prepare a lot more food. but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Especially for a wedding. If you look at some of these well-renowned caterers in South Florida, I mean, the big leagues, their portions are really
Very
tiny.
small.
Very small.
Very small, very petite, and everything is weighed. And so we are gradually gearing towards that as well too. But I feel like when you hire a professional, and that's why it's so important to hire somebody who is in the business and knows what they're doing, I feel like you should be more creative and provide a lot more options during cocktail hour. That's where you can really freeform what you want to do for them. And then for the dinner, you keep it very simple, but of course flavorful. So you'll have either a chicken and a fish, a chicken, a beef, and a fish, however you want to do it, whatever your budget allows. And then have a preset menu for the dinner itself. But I think creativity needs to come through with cocktail hour.
And as far as creativity, that's gonna be my next question. Do you prefer that you get creative freedom when you are putting these dishes together, or you want to be dictated by the client?
No, we like to freeform.
Yeah.
We like to, and that's why we get personal with our clients. We actually had a consultation last night where she's from Philadelphia and the other party is from Miami, but they have traveled across the world. They're really big on food. So they were just giving me information, which is what I request. Whenever I do a consultation, I'm like, hey, tell me what you like to eat. Tell me where you guys go out to eat. You know, tell me a little bit about your background, what your mom cooked, what your parents cooked, what was nostalgic for you growing up. And then from there, when they give me all these ideas, I actually create a cohesive menu for them. So it's never gonna be the same exact menu that you've seen at a different wedding. That's just not what we do. I mean, if you have other caterers to do it, to each his own, that's fine. But that's not what we believe in.
We're not even gonna go there, Farah. I'm a planner. I've seen stuff.
You've seen it.
I've seen stuff. I've seen the frozen stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
that's horrible.
But
That's horrible. Yeah.
No.
I definitely prefer fresh.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is, one thing that I've noticed since we've been together, the food has to be hot.
Yes.
If the food is not hot, all the food is coming back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we are very, very big on hot
Making
food.
sure that they get it
yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Even if they have to wait another 10 minutes. I'd rather they wait 10
10
minutes and
minutes.
that food is hot,
Right.
then we just rush it out and it's cold. And he always come back and he's like, babe, it's time to,
So
he's like, we gotta get this food out. I'm like, they gotta wait.
Gotta wait.
They gotta wait.
so
Yeah.
so how does timing play with you getting the entree out? So of course I know what the answer is, but I want people to hear, you know, when things are not going right, when photographers telling you 5 minutes and it's 30 minutes,
yes.
when, you know, or, you know, whatever the situation may be. So how does that play with your food?
You know what? We're actually really good on time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are really good on time. I think even with the planners that we work with, we have a really good communication with them as well too. So there's always somebody that we use for front of the house to make sure that, hey, when the bride is getting ready to walk, when they're wrapping up the ceremony, there has to be some type of line of communication.
And we're prepping for that communication
Absolutely.
from the moment that we wake up in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. To prepare for that, we know what time the bride is walking down the aisle. So when the bride starts walking down the aisle, things have to be done,
Yeah.
in place. And if they're not, we need to get them in place. And that's
And for the most part, we're really good on time.
very good on time.
I can say probably when we first started, not so much. But now, like, we can do a lot of stuff with our eyes closed, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And no, and I think that's amazing that you guys are able to work with the timing and things like that. However, working, and it's not bashing anybody or anything
Right.
like that. What I'm gonna say is really, because I've worked with so many different caterers,
Yes.
okay? Not necessarily outside caterers, but it's we are not going to reheat the chicken, and the chicken is going to be tough. The chicken is going to be this, you know, there's all this pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And beforehand, it's like, hey, listen, yes, the timeline says that dinner is going to be served at 7, but
Right.
can we do between 7 and 7:30?
Right.
You know, because I know
Yeah, things happen.
things happen.
Absolutely.
However, you have, some chefs that's really strong on serving that food at this certain times,
Yeah.
or you just basically messed up the integrity of the whatever it is that they're serving,
Yeah.
And
Well, you
For
should
you-
know that before you serve the chicken. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you know what you're doing when 5 o'clock rolls around and you haven't had the chicken warmed up, heated up, you haven't done anything.
Or even if it's been cooking for too long, and that's another
Right.
thing too. For example, if you're doing a steak, let's just say you want to serve it medium well, which is perfectly fine. But if you're an experienced chef, you're not going to put the steak to be warmed or cooked 3 hours before the event,
Of
or 2
course.
hours before the event, because it's going to continue to cook. Even if you put it in the oven, a hot box,
Correct.
a warmer, it will gradually continue to cook. So I think when you're hiring a professional and somebody who knows what they're doing, you won't have that issue. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
And what I've just explained to you, it's one of the higher end places, where it's very, it's a renowned place, yes, but the pressure was too much. You gotta know you're
Yeah.
dealing with a big crowd of people,
Yeah.
and things are not always gonna go in a straight line.
know.
Just because the timeline says 7
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're really gonna be plating at 7,
Uh-huh.
So to hear you guys say that, it's
Yeah.
really a breath of fresh air that I can come to you 30 minutes and say, hey, we're gonna serve at 8, and
Yeah.
then 10 minutes I got, it's like, okay, it's not 8 anymore.
Nice.